Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Hologram News Network. It's been some time since we put out a video, but we're back with some exciting new news about Star Atlas's new social media campaign called Never Alone. If you're seeing this strange symbol pop up in Discord and social media, this is what it's all about. So buckle up, sit tight. We're about to break it down on this new social engagement campaign. Now you and your DAC can work together to win over $2 million in Star Atlas prizes. I'm Kriggs, and thanks for tuning in to HNN. So here we have it, Never Alone, a year-long campaign where you as an individual will complete quests, earn experience, earn memory fragments, and collect prizes. The grand prize is a $2 million Tier 5 land habitat. Now you won't be able to get that top prize alone, so that's where working with your DAC will come into play. But before we get too far into the details, let's find out how this all starts. By the way, very cool graphics from the Star Atlas team. We have this exciting looking Punab character, which we'll deep dive into a little bit later in this video. But here you have it, the Never Alone campaign from Star Atlas. The story is pretty in-depth and it's pretty lengthy. Again, recommend you highly read it. But at the end, you kind of see this symbol. And this really introduces you to the character Sand, which is the Punab you saw in the earlier artwork. And that's kind of how Star Atlas is playing it off as, one sand can spark the flames of war. So this symbol here that you see on your screen, Star Atlas has been teasing it over the past couple days with social media and Discord users going crazy over it. Now, Star Atlas sets this whole thing up by releasing a lore article early this week, detailing how this explorer finds a ship, and in that ship, he finds a Punab who has experienced some amnesia. Now, I won't read the whole story for you, so I recommend you go check it out on Star Atlas's Medium, and you read the whole story itself. It's a really great story written by the lore team. I highly recommend you go read it. But it sets the premise up for the Never Alone campaign, where you as the space explorer are journeying throughout this year to restore the memory of this Punab by completing quests, which will earn you experience, which will get you memory fragments. And in return, you turn those memory fragments in for rewards throughout the year. So that brings us to what is Never Alone. Never Alone is an interactive experience for the Star Atlas community, the Solana ecosystem, and anyone who can see the future of Web3. It combines the spirit of adventure with the Star Atlas universe, rewarding individual and collective creativity and exploration. With Never Alone, we're inviting our worldwide community to play an active part in our upcoming product shipping and testing. Never Alone is a year-long event that's key and comprised of 4 missions that take players deep into the world of Star Atlas and able to earn loot by collecting memory fragments. So again, that's very important to remember. There's going to be a series of 4 missions throughout the next year in which you will collect experience, turn that in for memory fragments, in which then you will eventually burn those memory fragments for loot, which we'll cover later in this video. Players are sent to help Sand, the Punab, again, the one that you discover in his crashed ship, regain his memories and uncover the secrets of the past. A unique experience where your choices impact the whole system. Now we'll touch on that in a little bit here as well. So go to Zealy and connect your Discord. But what is Zealy? We'll take a look at it here. Now, according to their own page, Zealy is the operating system for communities, which help you automate your entire workflow from onboarding to retention and from engagement to growth. So this ties right into Star Atlas's social media campaign, building user engagement, building growth, bringing in new members, in which we'll see some of those quests involve current members doing things that might attract outside people into Star Atlas. But as you can see from the picture here, right, quests, leaderboards, notifications, you can see all of that information here in Zealy. And Zealy is not the only Web3 platform to kind of do stuff like this. There are others out there, other Web3 projects use tools like this to do kind of quests and rewards for their players. This is just another system that Star Atlas has chosen to use. Don't really have any information as to why Star Atlas chose Zealy, but do expect to probably use this platform in conjunction with Star Atlas going forward. So now let's go back and see what else is available. Step 2, select a quest. Step 3, earn XP like we talked about. And And then step 4, submit your wallet and discover memories. So select new quests, which will likely be on Zealy. Let's take a look at what some of those quests can be. So for mission 1, which will run for 2 months, you can see the entire collection of quests that Star Atlas has given for you to do. First ones are pretty simple. Join Discord, follow Star Atlas on Twitter, retweet the announcement, add country to profile, choose a faction, etc., etc. That's moving to the right. You can see that escape velocity actually now has some purpose that's tied to questing. So move 75 times, move 150 times, move 300 times. I think a good majority of us have already exceeded that, but play for 10 days, play for 20, 30 days, etc. You can see how Star Atlas is building the engagement. It's nice to see now that Star Atlas is kind of tying together all these little things. So your progression in escape velocity will get you experience in the Never Alone campaign. So there's a little more incentive to play escape velocity. Even if you're not getting good loot drops, you can still gain that experience throughout the months and then collect those memory fragments and then turn those in for additional rewards at the end. It's really nice to see them build out all these different integrated systems to reward players. As we move towards some of the other quests in the diplomacy or exploration or research section, not every single person might be interested in making memes or videos or creative content, and that's okay. Star Atlas has thought about that. They've designed the experience system so that you don't need to complete every single quest to get every single reward. So let's take a look at the reward system up here, at least an overview before we deep dive actual rewards. So again, 4 missions throughout the year. This first one, Scraps and Spoils, that's mission 1. Missions 2, 3, and 4 are locked. We don't know what they are yet, and we don't know what those rewards are going to be. And that is very important as you go through your year of Never Alone and choose your rewards. And again, we'll touch on that in a second. So what can you do with your memories? You have 3 options. You can combine 3 memories of the same tier for a memory of a forgotten life of that tier, which is tradable for an exclusive prize. Memories of a forgotten life also count towards guild competition. You can or burn the loot after mission concludes for individual rewards. Or, and this is very interesting, you can trade your rewards on the marketplace. Yes, you can trade your memories on the marketplace for Atlas, for dollars. You can sell to the highest bidder. And I think this introduces a very interesting dynamic into the Star Atlas ecosystem. What is your time worth? What is your experience worth? And you can potentially sell your memory fragments to, let's say, guilds who are trying to rack up those guild points and get that highest tier rewards. We'll touch on that here in a second. Overview of XP and missions. So each mission lasts 2 months. Each mission has a maximum of 10,000 XP. However, you only need 7,500 XP to reach the highest tier 3. So if you hit 5,000 XP, you get your tier 1 memory fragment for that mission. 6,250, you get your tier 2 memory fragment. And 7,500, you get your tier 3 fragment. So again, you don't have to complete all the quests, right? They don't expect you to complete every single quest to get the rewards, but it's likely still to be a challenge to hit that 7,500 XP mark. Now, talking through with some of the community members and team members, you don't get any extra bonuses for going past 7,500 or 10,000 XP, at least not for now. They want to, create that gap to not have you do every single quest. You can do it just for the bragging rights, but again, there's, you don't have to hit 10,000 to maximize everything. Now, let's take a look at the actual rewards themselves, and I find this part to be very, very interesting. And you as a player will have some tough choices to make, both as an individual and if you're part of a Dagger guild with your Dagger guild. So looking at all of the potential loot that you can receive throughout the year, this is mind-blowing. So it's a bit complicated, the system that they have for earning memory fragments, but we'll break it down for you here. So throughout the year, remember, there are 4 missions that you can participate in. In each mission, you can earn 3 fragments, 1 of each tier. So with 4 missions, 3 tiers, you can earn a total of 12 fragments. That's 4 fragments for each tier. Now tiers 1, 2, 3, you see right here in front of you. For mission 1, and this is mission 1 only, tier 1, if you were to burn it after the mission, you get the exclusive character skin you see on the screen here. If you hit tier 2 and you burn that tier, you'll get a Visa Solo. And then if you hit tier 3, you get the Memory Revelation exclusive Visa Solo skin. Now, let's say you go through all your missions throughout the year and you hit 4 of each tier. At the end of the year, when Star Atlas releases this, if you were to burn 3 tier 1 crystals or memory fragments, you will get a Fimble Unabomber, you'll get a ship component upgrade bundle, and you'll get a glimpse of a Forgotten Life title. Now, we've kind of clarified this, and this is like a player title that you'll get. For tier 2, if you were to burn 3 of those fragments, you'll get a Max Hog, you'll get the ship component upgrade bundle, you'll get Foundation Room access, which I'm not exactly sure about, belongs in this kind of category, and you'll get Fragments of a Forgotten Life title. Again, that's a title for your player name. You can see how it goes up in tier as you progress through the tiers. Now, lastly, and these are some pretty significant rewards, for tier 3, you get the Agrika Nirik, another component upgrade bundle. You get the Sand Crew Member. Now, this is probably the most exciting part of the tier 3 end of year bonuses. You get probably this a limited edition crew member that's probably going to have some pretty crazy perks. I mean, look at this dude. He looks like this fierce Punab that survived a crash, has no memory of what he's doing in Gallia, and yet he's still trucking along. I think this crew member will be something people will want. And then lastly, you'll get the Revelations of a Forgotten Life title, which, you can show off to anyone that comes in Star Atlas that, you grinded for a year and you got the highest title that you can achieve. Now, here's where the kicker comes in as an individual player. 3 crystals, memory fragments, are required to get your end of year bonus. That leaves you with 1 extra memory glimpse or memory fragment to turn in at the end of a mission. Remember, there's 4 missions. Now, we don't know what the rewards are for missions 2, 3, and 4. So here are your options. You get 4 memory glimpses and fragments and revelations. You can burn 1 at the end of each mission and get the mission rewards after each mission and forsake the end of year missions. Or you can burn them all after the end of mission 1 and then save your remaining 3 at the end of the year and get those rewards as well. So you can get all 6 rewards on the screen that you see here on the left side. Now, who knows what missions 2, 3, and 4 rewards will be? Maybe you'll want those. So you could save your memory fragments for those missions and then decide along the way what you want to burn. Now, it's likely mission 1 will only be claimable for a certain amount of time, so it's not like they're going to give you all the time in the world to decide. Star Atlas intentionally is causing dilemma for the players so that they have to make some of these choices, and you'll see why here in a second. So, let us know what you plan to do, or if you've thought about it, or what you think is the best rewards in these systems, in these tiers. Let us know in the comments. Now, let's turn to the DAX of what rewards are possible. And it's kind of crazy. If you look at the far right side of this graphic, here's the loot pool for DAX. You got an Agrika Sun Pod, Pierce D9, Busan Maidenheart, a tank ship. Now, if 1 in escape velocity wasn't enough, DAX can get their own tank ship. You've got tier 3, tier 4, Sea Assist Land, some more ships, and here's the huge prize. They're calling it the nearly impossible loot. You can get, as a DAC, a tier 5 CSS land. That's a $2 million prize that DAC can potentially earn. Now, the economy team has said that this is going to be an extremely, extremely difficult challenge. So DACs and guilds might not even actually complete this challenge, but the most coordinated DACs have definitely got a shot on this. Now, how does it work? So at the end of the year, right? If you are part of a DAC, and Star Atlas hasn't released a lot of details on it because they're probably still building the system, if you are to burn 3 fragments of a particular tier, you will get points for your registered DAC. 10 points for tier 1, 15 for tier 2, and 25 for tier 3. Now, Star Atlas hasn't released details on how many points you need to qualify for any of these DAC rewards. I think they're keeping it a little bit ambiguous because they want to keep player engagement high. I don't think they want guilds to kind of see, okay, we've got enough points, so we're going to stop the engagement. We're going to stop doing. I think they want to keep kind of dangling that carrot out there. But here's the interesting part. Fragments and glimpses and revelations are tradable on the marketplace. So you as a player have some individual choice here to make. whether you claim these as your own for rewards, whether you turn them in collectively towards your DAC, or you sell them on the marketplace. You could be an individual and you could sell to the highest DAC who's willing to buy these, which I'm sure certain DACs will be wanting to buy these rewards. There's a lot of choices here for individual players, which I think it's starting to reveal the complex nature of the Star Atlas ecosystem and economy with all these choices that a player has. So me personally, I'm most excited for the end of year tier 3, the Agricaneric, the Sand crew member, which I think will be a limited edition thing you can only get once, and it's going to be highly sought after. It's going to, personally, I think, not a financial advice, only speculating, provide some cool bonuses in game. The Neric was a limited edition reward from the Start Sequence campaign from last year. So, those are just a couple of things that I'm looking towards getting. As far as the individual missions, I don't know if I would trade in a tier 2 memory fragment for a Visa Solo, maybe an exclusive character skin, and maybe the exclusive Visa Solo skin. So I'm not really sold on those either, but who knows what missions 2, 3, and 4 rewards will bring. I'm also really excited to see where DACs are in a year from now and what kind of engagement and community growth that they can build to potentially get some of these tier 3, tier 4, and tier 5 CSS lands. We're talking millions of dollars potentially in prizes here that a DAC can claim if they're well coordinated and they get in all the members and they start engaging. This is really what I think Star Atlas is leaning towards as part of their strategy for the rest of the year, is to build player engagement. They're going to rely on the DACs. They're going to rely on content creators to really, really build that engagement. And I think we're going to see a lot of things like this continue throughout the summer. We had escape velocity drop. We just had the movement test, stress test. And now we've got this Never Alone social campaign. So it's something to look forward to for the next year. I'm excited to take part in missions. Let us know in the comments what you anticipate on doing, what your plan is. And best of luck all to you. And that wraps up our coverage of Never Alone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kriggs. You're listening to the Hologram News Network.